Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, why is Nicole with the baby at work? I see. I know people are going to sit there and say, well, she just got the baby back and she wants to be close to the baby and this, that, and the third. But I'm like, the first time, okay. I thought that I thought it was a little insensitive because you know that Eric works there. And I know she was like, oh, well, I thought you already went home or whatever. But I'm like, now you're bringing the baby to work again. And I'm just like, it's not like y'all don't have money for sitters. Like, this is just not really making a lot of sense. Um, she talks to Eric a little bit about the whole Holly situation and Tate. And, she's pissed off at Teresa because she is, blaming Holly for everything and she's just being really nasty to her. And then afterwards, Xander comes in the office. And it's so weird too because like when you look at the description for Days of Our Lives, I think one of the things it says is Xander and Nicole have like this nasty confrontation or this bad confrontation. And it really wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. Xander talks about his history with his mom and how he got in trouble back in the day and his mom was just pretty much just kind of done and over him on top of the fact of losing his dad, and that Victor really stepped up and stepped in his life when he really needed it. So, Nicole got to see a different side of him, like an actual human side. And it was actually a really nice conversation. Now, Teresa. Teresa finds out that they are trying to get Xander's mom to the wedding. And she just starts doing things where it's like I get it. I know that she doesn't want to be exposed, and bringing Xander's mom to the wedding is definitely not going to help out her plan at best. But it's like a lot of the stuff she's doing is just out of context, and there's a point it's like, oh, no, you can't bring her over because she's going to be all drunk and everything like that, and just saying a lot of bad things, and I want to sit there and protect Victoria and everything like that. And Sarah's like, no, I got that job, I'm good. And the whole time that she's sitting there trying to cover, it's like both of her and Bonnie just looking at her like, what are you talking about? And there's one point where she's like, no, you can't do it. Like, I get that she's jumping out of her skin. But I felt like this scene, the way it's written could have been so much better. It's one of those things where it's like she's too obvious and she's very heavy-handed as far as trying to make sure that Xander's mom doesn't go to the wedding, and the whole time they're just looking at her like, what is going on? And then Bonnie brings up the idea. Well, they talk about Holly for a little bit, and of course, Sarah's like, that's my niece, right? So we not gonna, what I'm saying, like she defends it. We're not gonna be doing that. And she also brings up the fact that listen, she's a kid. She made a mistake, and it's not like you're perfect or whatever. You've made mistakes before in your life. You've made mistakes, not just as a kid, but as a grown adult. So why don't you sit there and give her some slack and show her some grace a little bit? Hell, even Bonnie says the same thing. Bonnie's like, listen, you're not the same lying, scheming gold digger that you were before. And of course, she's just like, oh, no, of course not. And then Bonnie brings up the double wedding. And she's like really intimate. She's really like gun ho about the idea, and they both are just like, yeah, I don't rock with him. Xander and Alex don't really rock with each other, so that's a terrible idea. Now she's talking about how, oh, you need to sit there and do for Maggie and this, that, and the third, and I'm just like, I get the pros of what she's trying to sit there saying, but it's like the cons between Xander not liking Teresa, Xander and Alex having their issues, And of course, now this whole thing between Teresa and Sarah, when it comes to Holly, it's like the cons outweigh the pros, but because Bonnie is such a dingbat, she's not really seeing it. Now there's a point where she's all like, "Oh, I want to sit there and help with the envelopes or whatever," because she sees, the envelope that's going to be mailed to Xander's mom. She says something to distract her too, and then takes the envelope. But what she winds up doing with it is she throws it in the trash. And I'm just like, wouldn't it just been better if you just would have took it with you than to throw it in the trash? Because Bonnie stumbled upon it by like I don't know, I think she like hit part of the desk or whatever and she sees it in the trash. And so she's like, listen, I'll mail it out to Xander's mother, whatever, after I finish my show. But I'm just like, and I get that Ron, this thing shoots like months in advance or whatever. Um, so I get Ron may not have been the one that was writing the scene, but it's just one of those things where it's like the scene is written very sloppy. It's not like terrible. Oh my god, this is unwatchable. But between the way that Teresa's acting, the fact that she just takes the envelope and throws it in the garbage as opposed to taking it with her, it's like, and plus she was just making everything super awkward. But then she just stays in the living room anyway. I'm just like, don't you have, I don't know, anything else to do? Because you already seem like you're just acting out of pocket. You already seem like you're starting to have this little bit of an issue with Sarah, but your dumbass is still in the room. So what are we really doing now? Alex tells Brady that he asked Teresa for marriage, and she said yes. And Brady's, he's kind of thrown off about it. He's like, "Oh, I didn't really expect this or whatever." It's like, what do you mean you didn't expect that? Y'all two literally just had a conversation before that, talking about how they're getting a lot closer. Now, Brady, because now he just really wants to be with Teresa out of nowhere, is like, can you trust her? Because she came after me for my money and everything like that, and this, that, and the third, and she has a habit of doing that. She's pretty much a gold digger. So what makes you think that she didn't come at you for your money? Now, yes, that's a plausible reason, but my whole thing is like, Alex already came for money to some extent. You know, he already came for money from some extent. He's a Kyriakis. Um, that's one part. I mean, I guess with Sarah wants to sit there and make her own money or whatever, and not rely on Maggie. But like, they're Kyriakises. The fact that Sarah still, was staying in that Roach Hotel or whatever, just because Xander didn't want to sit there and beg for you know, the money was just kind of ridiculous to some extent. But like, my point is that Alex came for money. He already came for money. I mean, granted, yeah, he has more money than he did before, but it's like, yeah, he already came for money. So when Alex shuts down that idea, he's all like, "Oh well," then then Brady brings up, "What if she knew that you was going to be getting that money? What if she knew about you being Victor's son?" And he brings it back to Greece and about the fact that most likely she probably opened up the briefcase, realized that you were going to be getting a ton of money, and she slept with you. Now Alex is like, "Oh well, she made a big deal about wanting to sleep with you." And it's like, yeah, that was part of the plan. And the whole time Alex is just like, he's looking because he realizes like, you know what, a lot of this stuff makes sense. A lot of the pieces make sense, but probably because of his pride, his ego, whatever, he's like, I don't believe you. So now he just wants to sit there and bury his head in the sand, and it's like the equivalent of la 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 la. That's pretty much what he was doing. That's literally what he was doing. Um, Now, of course, Teresa does come there, and Bray's all like, "Oh yeah, congratulations on the good news," and yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, Bray. I mean, at this point, I was like, I'd rather you just keep it real, just keep it honest, than you to be being super fake at this point. Um, there really wasn't much of a scene with Xander and I don't think that Xander was Sarah. No, they were. I don't think they were together. I think that might have been yesterday's episode. Now, after Eric hangs up the phone with Nicole, talks with Roman, and it's like, they're talking about Lucas for a little bit. Him going back, him going to Arizona and stuff. And he's like, yeah, he's not the only one that's going to be leaving Salem. And he's like, I'm leaving as well. And he tells him between seeing Nicole often and seeing Jude, it's just too much for him. He's like, I'm thinking about a fresh start. Now, at some point, he does go to Nicole. He's like, I think he probably maybe tomorrow going to sit there and tell Nicole that he's leaving Salem. Now, the last scene, because I was sitting there looking through, I was like, anything else? The last scene is with Stefan and EJ. So EJ gets back, and Stefan's like, okay, so what's going on? Is Gabby going to be free? And EJ's like, no, because as much as I was sitting there trying, the judge needs the physical evidence. But we can't get that evidence because we don't know, what I'm saying, because Melinda has it. And he tells him, I can't get in contact with Melinda. I don't know where she's at. And she wants immunity. So Stefan's like, because at one point I was like, he kept saying to Burns, like, oh, well, I'm going to sit there and tell Nicole. I'm going to tell Nicole. It's like, bro, you are literally asking for the impossible. He literally just said he went to the judge. And the only way the judge is actually going to sit there and look at that is, is with the book. So long story short, Stefan's like, get her immunity. Now, EJ's like, if I get her immunity, that's not going to really help my relationship with Nicole because Nicole's going to be pissed off. I was like, I don't care. You work that out. And if you don't, X, Y, and Z. So it seems like Melinda's going to be on the show, a little bit longer. Now, towards the end, Stefan goes to see Gabby, aka New Gabby. Now, I'm very curious about how the fans are going to react to this new Gabby so far. Is she going to have that Gabby fire, that Gabby energy? Our fans are automatically going to sit there and neigh her. Very curious about that. She didn't really actually have any speaking lines, so I'm very, very curious to sit there and see how this whole thing is going to play out. Yeah, I feel like that's actually about it. I can't think of anything else, but if I forgot anything, write it in the comment section. Let me know. Also, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to sit there and say. I'll see you in the next video.